Two bikes, two different frame materials, and one question. One must go, but which one? On one side, a handmade titanium Enigma Excel meticulously crafted in England to my exact specifications, a one-off masterpiece. On the other, a Specialized Athos, a brilliant carbon bike that thousands of cyclists own, a trusted workhorse. Logic says, keep the bespoke titanium build to last a lifetime. But when I return from rides on the Athos, doubt creeps in. There's more to a bike than specs on paper or craftsmanship. Today, I'm finally making the decision that's been haunting me, and I'll walk you through my thoughts. What makes a perfect bike? For a group of cyclists, the holy grail is a custom titanium frame, something that outlast carbon, aluminium, and several sets of components. Now, when I commissioned the Enigma Excel, hand-built in Sussex to my exact specification, I thought I'd found my forever bike. The Excel is 6'4", grade 5 titanium, the perfect balance between strength and that signature titanium ride quality. The design process was fun. I specified every detail, the blue anodized logos matching the touches of paintwork, the precise stack and reach measurement to accommodate my dodgy lower back. When it finally arrived, I spent perhaps a little too long admiring the welds. There's something about hand-built titanium frame that demands appreciation. Of course, all this bespoke, hand-built stuff didn't come cheap. Wrapped around your finger like a precious metal promise, it cost just over the 8,000 British pounds new. The price of admission to Titanium's exclusive club. I remember riding it for the first time back in 2019, expecting some revelation. During the first ride through the countryside, the frame's smoothness was undeniable, and it carried me effortlessly over rolling hills. But here's where things got complicated. There was a problem from the start. I'd made a mistake and infected the initial build with SRAM. And that was always going to present issues eventually. After a couple of years, and just outside the SRAM warranty period, the rear mech failed. So I decided on a comprehensive refresh to overcome these initial problems while preserving the bike's soul. I disinfected it by upgrading to Shimano Ultegra Di2, added a Stages power meter, and even splurged on those updated, absurdly expensive Silca titanium bottle cages that save approximately 0 watts but look fantastic. The final touch was fitting Pirelli 30mm tubeless tyres, the widest the frame would accommodate. This refresh build and I had some good adventures together. On the Mallorca 312, the Enigma performed flawlessly. Through the descent of Puig Major, it held its line with unwavering precision, instilling confidence at every hairpin turn. During the climbs, it transferred power efficiently, and the notion that the bike might be heavier than carbon never crossed my mind. And weight-wise, it's quite impressive. Ride ready at 9.3 kilos. Pretty decent. The Enigma truly shines during British winters. I would have hesitated taking a premium carbon bike outside when the weather turned, but the Excel's durability and stability gave me confidence in the worst conditions. There's an emotional attachment to a bike built specifically for you. Each time I consider selling it, I feel guilt, as if I'm betraying a friend. How can I contemplate parting with something so personal, so carefully crafted to my specifications? On paper, the Enigma Excel outperforms the Specialized Athos in nearly every category. The customization factor puts it in another league. The Athos comes in standard sizes with only minimal geometry adjustments. Titanium's longevity makes carbon seem ephemeral by comparison, and there's something undeniably special about riding a bike handcrafted by artisans rather than produced on an assembly line. Yet, despite these premium features, despite knowing the frame could last decades, despite the exclusivity of hanging a bike with all these exact specifications, my hand reaches for another bike when it comes time to ride. I find myself drawn to the Specialized Athos. When something just feels right on the road, all those carefully researched specifications suddenly seem less important. The Athos wasn't even supposed to be a contender. It started as an impulse purchase when I spotted it going for sub £5,000. A significant discount on its $7,250 retail price. I initially justified it as a secondary bike for fair weather rides and travelling with. A complement to the Enigma, not a replacement. Then something unexpected happened during those first few rides. The sensation was subtle at first. The way the Athos responded to input, particularly when climbing. The way it seemed to translate effort into forward motion with a quiet efficiency. 5 rides in, I realised I was making up reasons to choose the Athos over the Enigma. By the 10th ride, I stopped pretending there was any logic to it. The mass-produced carbon frame was outshining my bespoke titanium dream build in ways I couldn't quite articulate, but couldn't ignore either. When planning back-to-back trips to Lanzarote and Tenerife, the Athos went straight into the bike box without hesitation. On those volcanic climbs, it responded unassumingly to everything I asked of it. Back on home roads, I've been tracking performance data. Comparing rides on identical segments revealed a clear pattern. The Athos was consistently outperforming the Excel, allowing me to ride faster. I've adapted the Athos with a few small upgrades. the wider S-Works handlebars to match my own body geometry. Perhaps most transformative were the Continental GP5000 32mm tubeless tyres, which added smoothness and confidence on broken tarmac. This brings it in a smidge under 8 kilos, obviously a shade lighter than the Enigma. It's heresy in certain cycling circles to suggest a production carbon frame could surpass a handmade titanium masterpiece. The conventional wisdom says the bespoke creation should always win. It's made specifically for you after all. The geometry is perfectly tuned to your proportions, the material is legendary for its ride quality and longevity, the exclusivity factor alone should tip the scales. Yet, here I am consistently choosing the Athos. Not because it's technically superior, it's the bike that has me checking the weather forecast, hoping for a clear morning. It's the one that makes me want to ride. The perfect bike isn't the one with the most impressive spec sheet or the most exclusive build process. It's the one that sparks joy every time you throw a leg over it. The Athos does that for me in a way other bikes haven't. Ideally, I would keep both bikes, but I'm having a shake-up and they're simply too similar in purpose for me to justify keeping both now. After weighing everything up, the verdict is in. I'm keeping the Athos. Not because it's objectively better, but because it's the bike that I unconsciously swing a leg over when the weekend arrives. Now, if the Enigma had been up against any of my previous bikes, and there's been a few, Defy, actually 2 Defies, Synapse, Imonda, Canyon, then I'd have picked the Enigma for sure. But there's something about the Athos, the ride quality and simplicity that I found sets it apart. The perfect bike comes down to the feeling you get while riding it. The Athos makes me want to ride more, and that's what matters. This journey has taught me to listen to my heart. The bike that stays is the one that brings me the most joy.